Hi, this is via log entry 152, and currently it is 11 a.m. CST. I've been tired, very tired, and there have been a few hiccups in my life. I was about to say unfortunately, but I think there's good reason for it. And I just look at the universe as a language, and it's telling me a lot of things that I've been putting on the back burner unnecessarily. And so yeah, I mean, I have these glasses that I just for a long time, and they just broke again. The lens actually popped off, and I also had to use a rubber band, not a rubber band. Sorry, I didn't have that. I had to use floss to tie the just to tighten the frame of the lens because the screw won't go back into the little crevice because it's bent due to, I think I accidentally sat on it once, so the frame is kind of angled wrong, which means the crevice in which the screw goes in can't go in correctly, so it's at an angle. And I think you could probably, I mean, there are other ways to do it, but the best way that I thought of was just using floss because that's all I had. I didn't have any like really thin, strong string for that. So I decided to use floss, and it works nicely. But and then another issue occurred where the joint that that holds the what do you call it? The arm of the I just call it the arm. I don't know what to call it. The piece that goes over your ear, whatever you call it. I just call it the arm. It seems right. Yeah. So that joint is kind of just worn off, and I had to. Well, I couldn't really fix it because every time I tried putting tape in it, or wrapping it around, because it worked initially when I was wrapping it with tape, but there has been so much erosion around the joint to the point where it just slides right off. So like when you stick the arm in, it's just too, it doesn't stick as much as it did before. So if you try to wrap tape around it, it won't work because, well, I would probably be able to do it with another hand because I don't know, it's kind of hard to hold it while you're wrapping tape around it because you have to, I mean, now that I think of it, I actually could have cut it a couple of times into segments and then line it up and then try to do it that way, but it would be kind of hard to do because you have to hold it, and then, like, I don't know, with two hands it's impossible, pretty much. So I've been having issues with my glasses, so I'm going to the optometrist on Monday. I'm not going during the weekend because, well, it's busy in downtown. I'm planning on going to a downtown optometrist to get new prescriptions because the old ones are the ones that I have over at Williamsburg, or the ones that I got at Williamsburg are expired, so I had to get new ones. And well, the place I'm going to offers free eye exams, and I could get 2 glasses for $60, so I'm probably just going to do that. And I'm still waiting for my Medicare card. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get a discount on that, but I really need glasses as of now, so I'm probably just going to cave in and just pay the $60 as opposed to having to wait for 2 weeks to get my card, then go over there and then get the free the free glasses and whatnot. I don't think they offer it. I think that's only for Medicaid, but I'm not 100% sure because I didn't look online. So I tend to do that sometimes where I just don't feel like looking at things. That's irresponsible of me. I try to be, I mean, I'm pretty responsible, but sometimes I'm just like, my brain's just like, nah. So but I'm almost 100% sure that they don't offer free glasses for Medicare. But I could be wrong. Yeah. Whatever. It's fine, because I need my glasses now, and I have to wait for my stupid card before I can get it, I think. I don't know. I just haven't been thinking about my adult responsibilities recently because I've been like, I don't know, I've been so drained and my head's been out of it. I mean, like, I get up every day and I read, and I do like the bare minimum of what I have to do every single day, taking care of my body and whatnot. But aside from that, it's been very difficult to do things that are more proactive. But I'm feeling a lot better now, so I think I'm gonna start moving again. But I really need new glasses. I really need new glasses. Yeah, aside from that, I've been reading about what I could read pertaining to effective communication, because again, I kind of want to be a more holistic human being and stop. I used to be the kind of person to like just hyper obsess or just be super fixated on like one thing, and I would pretty much ignore every other aspect of my life. And I mean, I assume that I have the innate intelligence to be a well-rounded human being that can probably be a jack of all trades, or yeah. So there was another phrase I was thinking about, but I can't think of it right now. But yeah, I mean, I think I am decent at effective communication as long as I give myself the space and time to actually let the words flow. What I don't know how else to say it other than like giving my brain the amount of time to kind of find the right words that associate with the ideas in my head and whatnot. And of course, you know, there may not be a reservoir of words that would be able to effectively communicate certain ideas, because I tend to see my ideas as, well, I mean, I see them obviously like anybody else, but I don't like to toot my own horn, but I think I do have ideas that are hard to express with human language at times. So, or maybe I just haven't read enough for me to effectively communicate these certain ideas that I tend to see in my head that make me either stutter, or I have to give a bunch of contrived examples to kind of explain it, or just very rudimentary analogies, and that tends to work most of the time. But at the same time, it's just, it can be hard. It can be hard. So I don't know if reading books about effective communication, I think I consider myself to be more practical, so I don't think reading these books would help me, but I may look at the synopses of these books, because I'm using Perplexity. I think Perplexity can actually find synopses of each of these books, so I asked it, you know, the first step would be, okay, give me books about, it's a two-step process. Give me books about, like, you know, the kinds of books that pertain to effective communication, and then asking it to give synopses of each and every one of these, and then I could just properly parse through the information without having to look at all the details, because again, I like intuiting and flying over the abstractions, because my brain tends to have an innate capacity to do so. So why would I waste my time reading linearly, right? So let me see if I can do that, because that seems interesting. See if it may not be super verbose. Oh yeah, it's not verbose at all. They just, well, I mean, of course, everybody knows the Dale Carnegie example, or how to win friends and influence people, but you know, this one is about interpersonal skills and whatnot, improving that kind of stuff. You know, the standards, initiation of like just socializing with people, right? And being able to find common interests, and being able to, you know, go through that process of like Q&A. I guess I tend to do that. I usually just use a Q&A process, and I dissect information from people that I think are interesting, and I can maybe extract information from them. That sounds very robotic, but that's how my brain thinks at times. So usually I usually just use a standard Q&A process, and sometimes people tend to do like a QA process, if that kind of makes sense. So it's going both ways. It's considered to be bidirectional as opposed to unidirectional, right? I like going unidirectional because I tend to not really care about myself as much, because I know about myself. I'd prefer to know about other people and seeing what they know that I don't know, right? So that's usually what I do. If they're fine with me, it's an interview, basically. It's an interview. I like interviewing people. And not only that, I like interviewing people and understanding their motives behind why they're interested in things, because that's a very important factor, right? It's like, it's not just the things that they like, but the motives behind it. And the reason why I do that is because I want to be motivated just like them, to understand why they are interested in a given subject. I mean, like, I think most people tend to be interested in subjects just because they like it, right? It doesn't go farther. It doesn't go beyond that, you know. Of course, you know, if you're considered to be more practical, I consider myself to be practical in most aspects. I think in all aspects, because again, like I've never been the kind of person to like collect information about bugs because I think bugs are interesting. I don't think that way. That's just not how my brain works. I can be emotional at times. I have emotions, obviously, like anybody else, but I don't let my emotions dictate my decision-making processes and whatnot, I guess would be a good way to say it, you know. That's why I consider myself to be an INTP as opposed to somebody that's more feely, you know, FI, I guess, would be the, it's like introverted feeling. I've gotten that was a blind spot of mine, but I've gotten much better at understanding my feelings more. Sometimes, I mean, my brain goes haywire because there's a lot of stuff in the back of my head that I don't see that are feelings that I either tend to ignore or try to ignore, or I've gotten much better at processing feelings, but it's still a work in progress and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know, it's still a work in progress like anything else. Yeah, I've gotten much better though. So anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was going through the different like interpersonal relations and whatnot. I was like, I'm not bad at interpersonal relations. Okay, I could be better. I'm bad at like standard initiation of social, like just like social stuff. Like I don't know. I've never been good at. I can be good at socialization, but my brain's just very. It doesn't see it as necessary most of the time. So, but of course, you know, now I have a good reason, because most people tend to use these axioms to, just because, you know, it's just social etiquette, I guess. So, I mean, like, if you look at the bigger picture, obviously, you'd want to understand social etiquette to garner a network of people and whatnot. And, yeah, so it's obviously logical to understand social etiquette to some degree. And I've gotten much better. It's just, I tend to forget about, like, hi, you know, like standard stuff like, hey, how are you? Or like, hey, nice to meet you. My name is blah, blah, blah. What's your name? Oh, cool. And, you know, all that stuff, right? I tend to skip over the name process and I go straight into asking them questions. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about names, apparently. I don't care about, like, I never give people my name. People always have to ask me for my name. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I guess people... obviously, it would make sense because they'd want to identify you. But, like, I don't know. My brain's... It can be short-sighted sometimes when it comes to at least socializing. It's very short-sighted when it comes to socializing. Yeah. Oh, I think another reason why is because I tend to project. Usually when I am kind of like, if I'm inquiring something from somebody, I just walk straight up to them. I don't say their name usually. And I just ask them like about a particular thing. And of course, you know, in bigger circles and whatnot, but I've never been in a big social circle. I've never had a big social circle. So I project my own experiences, right? You know, like that's pretty human, right? I project my experiences onto other people, and because I can. So that's why I tend to do that, and yeah, that seems like a good explanation. I'm just looking at the synopses of each of the books that the Perplexity spat out. Effective community. I'm definitely not good at persuasion. Again, that's because of my introverted tendencies. I don't like having to explain everything to everybody and trying to convince them into my own worldview of things. And that's why I was thinking about getting into, like, I don't know if I want to get into debate. Like I don't know. I don't really have. I prefer to just be under the radar most of the time. I tend to just kind of operate discreetly. I don't like being in the spotlight, but I don't know, man. Like it's just my preference, of course. But I can't always have my own preferences. The world tends to impose its preferences onto me, and I'm like, oh shit, I get fine. You know what I mean? But yeah, yeah. Crucial Conversations by Carrie Patterson and a bunch of other people. I just started looking this like 2 seconds ago, so I'm gonna read it into these different synopses and maybe I go into like Cliff Notes or something and just kind of see what ideas they tend to portray and whatnot, and see if I can implement it into my framework for human communication. Yeah, I don't know. I was never a good presenter in school either. I mean, I could do it if I wanted to, but most of the time I just didn't want to. That's why I think I talked about essays and whatnot, and I just didn't have the patience for it because like the idea was there. It's just like having to have the patience to actually like go through like human language to then properly showcase that idea. It's just like it just seems so laborious to me and meticulous in my opinion. So it just like my brain didn't give a fuck at all. I mean, I did well in school because I had to. Well, I didn't really have to actually. Honestly, I kind of wish that I was like, I had the maturity to understand that when I was like 17, I let my dad's this is just his preference of, I don't know, just how I let his recommendations override mine, and I wish I didn't do that, but I did, and that kind of put me in a very precarious situation, and I pretty much wasted a good chunk of my life, which is why I'm behind right now because I knew that school wasn't for me. I should have known that much earlier, which I did, but at the same time, I was also trying to satisfy my dad's, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Preferences, I guess. I don't know. There was another word I was thinking about, but I couldn't. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of exhausted because I don't know what's been going on. My brain has been, I mean, it's functioning. It's just tired, lethargic. It's just like, it's pretty much, I would say it's along the caliber of exhaustion more than anything else, and that's fine, it's fine. I'll give it time to rest and recharge, I guess. Even though I don't like doing it because I don't know, I'm impatient, I guess. With myself mainly. I'm not impatient with other people. I give people all the time in the world to either express their ideas or just be them. It's like I've never been critical towards other people, but I'm extremely critical towards myself. I have pretty high standards for myself, so I don't impose my standards for myself on other people because I know other people are different. It's like that's should be obvious for most people, but some people don't. My dad didn't see it, or my parents in general didn't see it. But it's I could blame people all they want, but it doesn't matter really. I'm just kind of ruminating as of now. Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of reading and studying to do because I just like absorbing information. I want to, and I want to put into practice. I like putting it into practice. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping that if I read, I'm not going to just read books. Sometimes my brain likes to just read information and just keep it in its head and not practice it. Usually, I mean, like I think when I was younger, I didn't really have the. I would say that my environment was particularly dull, and it didn't give me the necessary nutrients for me to properly evolve to my higher self or me being self-actualized, because I kind of starved myself in the environments that I was in, whether it being school or just being with my family and living in their home, and it just felt dull. All of it. Work was dull, school was dull, being in that environment was dull. I'm starting to feel some dullness in my reality right now, but I can still kind of, again, I can change that just by absorbing information, just learning constantly, because that's the only way I have any kind of excitement with this world. So but it's fine. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep reading, I guess. My brain has been in a very passive, I guess. I would consider it to be passive because I'm kind of sitting here and absorbing information, and that's fine, but I'm fine. I consider myself to be more feminine in many ways. Like, I've always been very feminine. I wouldn't consider myself to be that masculine, which is fine, It's like, if that's who I am, then why would I ignore those aspects of myself? I can be. I actually, if I want, I can put myself in those positions if I want to. But most of the time, I tend to be more feminine. Um, so, yeah. I don't know. I just like my brain's just kind of thinking, and I can't put them into words because it just like it goes so goddamn fast at times where I can't catch them with words. Does that make sense? Catch them with words. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I think that's it. I've been talking for how long? It's already been 20 minutes. Wow. It didn't feel like 20 minutes. It felt like half that time. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.